Peace, light, and love, and welcome to the Brave Heart Healing Channel. I am the lovely Kiana Nicole. The Brave Heart Healing Channel talks about the Black experience, topics of the day, and all things relating to the true indigenous people of America, which is the so-called Negro, African American, Black American, etc. If you are new to the channel, definitely go ahead and hit that like and that subscribe button. It definitely helps me out a great deal. Well, family, I wanted to come forth here and talk about a topic that is not really talked about enough. And we're going to be talking about the Great Depression and how so-called Black people survived it. What did they do? What are some of the things that they did to get by? So we're going to really talk about that because, you know, as you guys know, unless you've been living under a rock, the economic climate within America has gotten really, really bad and will continue to get worse. This is not a fear-mongering video. I remind you, this is not a fear-mongering video. This is to educate us as individuals in being proactive to the things that we see happening around us. And we have to look and study the past because the past often repeats itself, which it will and which we're witnessing right now. And America right now is on a boiling pot that is about to implode, explode in every which way. Mind you, this is not our fight. We are to stand down. We are not to protect this system. We are not to help fight for this system. For it is written, it is fallen, and there is nothing that anybody can do about it. All of these things that are happening before our eyes, even the so-called bad, with bills, people losing their homes, people don't have enough money to get food, we've got raising prices across the board. All of it is from the Creator. What is important is that we have our inside, our mental state, our spirituality that we can lean on that dwells within us. We are the salt of the earth. Source knows who his true children are. And in essence of everything that's happening, we are to pay attention to everything. But yes, getting back to the topic at hand, the Great Depression, a lot of individuals might question like, okay, well, how did the people in the Great Depression fare? What did they do? What were some of the things that they did to survive? I'm going to go over that, okay? Because it's very important as we see the writing on the wall that so-called Black people, which are the true indigenous individuals of the lands of America, understand, understand, and overstand what is happening, okay? We are the survivors. We have been here. We are going to continue to be here after it's all said and done. But we're going to look at ways to be proactive in coming up with viable solutions to help us get through this pertinent time. So, Black Americans, so-called Negroes, the individuals who characterize themselves or have been called African Americans, survived the Great Depression through a combination of grassroots activism, community support, and leveraging New Deal programs while facing significant discrimination. Now, we see across the board, people are being fired, people are being laid off. And as you guys know, we are the first fired, last hired. I will say that again. We are the first fired, last hired. And it's going to go back to that. Our ancestors and individuals who survived the Great Depression organized boycotts, formed cooperatives, and participated in New Deal initiatives like the Works Progress Administration, which provided jobs and some relief. So we see this happening right now. We've got a group of individuals, lots of individuals were boycotting Target. Lots of individuals are boycotting Walmart and other businesses that don't align with us nor support us. We already see that happening. And by us doing that, we're seeing these companies collapse on a faster scale. So we're going to keep doing what we're doing in that essence. But this is what our ancestors did during the Great Depression. Now, African Americans organized boycotts of businesses that discriminated against them in hiring practices, like, you know, don't buy where you can't work campaign. Which led to the employment of 2,000 African Americans in Chicago and other northern cities. Community support, and I really want to drive this home here. The importance of community and support within the so-called Black community is do or die now. I'm going to advise, I'm going to, pray that individuals align themselves with individuals that are on the same wavelength, that have the same frequency, and are about the same goals and coming together to survive, because this is what this is now. But there's so much trauma, so much things that we as so-called Black people have not dealt with in ourselves, which makes it very hard for this community support to come into play. Not to say that there are not organizations and people out there that are not partnering with each other and building community, which is awesome, but we need to see this on a grand scale if, Black people are to survive what's to come. The family support, families and communities often pulled resources together, bartering goods, and, engaged in survival tactics like rent parties and numbers games to get by. And a lot of things that happen within the community support regimen is that a lot of so-called Black people still had connections to the South. When they were, going from the South to the North to look for work and things like that, they still had those connections to the South and a lot of those Black farmers, which is really, really important that brothers and sisters support their Black farmers. If they are near any, support your Black farmers and start to create different co-op programs to where we can move food to our communities, whether it's having a soup kitchen once a week, something for us, by us. These are proactive approaches that we can take in supporting our Black farmers, as well as helping them in the fields for us. Now, a lot of people may say, well, I'm not getting out in no field and all this stuff like that. Okay, well, you will go hungry. You want to be a part of a community that is aligned with your values. I'm not saying get out here in the fields to work for no other. Okay, I'm not talking about getting in no fields working for white people, but we need to have people that are working the fields for us, by us, to support us as Black people. All right. And this is something that is already in the midst, and I already see happening, where a lot of people are coming together to help these farmers, which is what our Black farmers need. It's very important that we support them because they are the ones behind the scene that are, really making things happening for us. Okay. And leveraging New Deal programs. So back during the Great Depression, there was a lot of discrimination happening against African Americans. While facing discrimination, many of our brothers and sisters benefited from the New Deal programs like the Work Progress Administration, which provided jobs, and National Youth Administration, which provided educational opportunities. But during these New Deal programs, there was still discrimination against us. Okay, we have lots of things working against us as a people, but we know, okay, we are the survivors. We were made for this. We were built for this because we are the true chosen people of the book. Okay, the world is about to see very soon, whose children we belong to and whom we belong. And that is the creator of the universe. And source of power has not forgotten his people. Its people, excuse me. Has not forgotten its people. And, the world is about to see that very shortly. So the discrimination, African Americans during the Great Depression did experience discrimination and challenges. Despite some of the benefits, like I said, from the New Deal programs, Blacks faced significant discrimination in housing, employment, access to programs, and were often last hired, first fired. And we're going to go back to that. You're going to start to see a lot more of these things unfold because, the president of the U.S. corporation has finagled some things regarding, segregation. All of this stuff is coming down the pike, guys. And it's very important that we are cognizant and are aware and putting our best foot forward to come together, family-wise, unit-wise, as a people, because this is a time of community. Then we have the Harlem Renaissance, okay? This Harlem Renaissance was birthed through the Great Depression and from the Great Depression. The Harlem Renaissance was a cultural movement which flourished during the Depression, provided an outlet for Black artists, writers, and musicians to express their experiences and challenge societal norms. So unless you've been living under a rock again, like I said, there has been a whole flip of hip hop for the better. We are having individuals, we're holding individuals accountable. These entertainers, they're not getting away with what they used to get away with. We're calling all of it out. If it's not filled with substance, if it's not teaching our children anything, our youth anything, we're not supporting the crap, period. And this is what's happening. Kendrick Lamar, Ray Vaughn, all of these awesome lyricists and, actual poets are really changing the game with having hip hop go back to how it used to be, which is informing the people. It was a voice. It was a voice of resistance. You had people like KRS-One, Public Enemy, all of these different groups that really stood for something. It's going back to that. But I just wanted to bring this forth, guys, to talk about things that we can do as a people during this time of economic uncertainty, building that community, getting active within your area, within your families, and coming together, living together. Look at how so-called, Mexicans and Asians live. I mean, they live sometimes 10 people in a house. It's going back to that, guys. It's going back to that, whether you want to see it or acknowledge it or not. Living the way that we've been living is not sustainable for the long term, nor is it sustainable in this time that we're living in. Let me know what you think in the comments. And if you've got any tips, solutions as well of what your family did during the Great Depression, or if you have any information to share, definitely link that in the bottom. Peace, light, and love.